Okay, so last week, one of my students messages me. Advanced grammar, huge vocabulary, reads novels in English for fun.
Sounds like a nightmare student, honestly.
She says, Vicky, I understand everything people say to me, but every time I order coffee, the barista makes me repeat myself. Sometimes 3 times.
3 times? For a coffee order?
3 times. And Jeffrey, this happens to so many learners. You can know every grammar rule, every word in the dictionary, and people still go, sorry, what?
Because it was never about the words.
Exactly. So today, articulation. Why some people are hard to understand even when everything else about their English is basically perfect.
Right, let's get into it.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Vicky.
And I'm Jeffrey. But before we start, everyone, please remember to subscribe to our channel.
Yes, click the like button and please share our podcast with your friends and family. It helps us a lot.
Absolutely.
So let's actually define this, because I think people hear articulation and picture like an old school elocution teacher with a ruler.
Speak clearly, darling. Very Victorian.
Kind of, yeah. But really, to articulate just means to say something clearly enough that people don't have to work to understand you.
And that's the bit that gets skipped, isn't it? Everyone obsesses over grammar and vocab, and nobody teaches you how to actually move your mouth.
Which is wild, because think about it. You could have a flawless sentence in your head, perfect tense, perfect word choice, and if it comes out mumbled, none of that matters. The other person just didn't catch it.
And that's the whole word for today, isn't it? To articulate. Worth flagging early. It just means to express something clearly, so people don't have to guess what you meant.
Good catch. That's genuinely the word this whole episode lives inside.
It's the difference between writing a great text message and actually saying it out loud with your mouth full of marbles.
I mean, dramatic, but yes. So by the end of this episode, you're going to understand exactly why this happens, and you'll walk away with real, usable ways to sound clearer today. Not next year, today.
No marbles required.
Okay, so let's start with the actual causes, because I don't think people realize there's more than one thing going on here.
Go on then, Professor.
The first one is just mumbling. Not opening your mouth enough, keeping everything low and quiet, especially on the ends of words.
Oh, that's a good one to flag, actually. To mumble. That's when you speak so quietly and unclearly that people literally can't make out the words.
Right, versus enunciate, which is the opposite. To enunciate is to pronounce each word clearly and distinctly.
See, and here's where I'd push back a little. Because in my experience, the fix for that isn't some technical exercise. It's confidence. People mumble because they're scared of being wrong. So they say it quietly, hoping nobody really hears it clearly enough to correct them.
I don't fully disagree with that, but I think confidence alone doesn't fix a mouth that's genuinely not used to making certain sounds. Like, English has sounds a lot of languages just don't have.
The TH sound. Everyone's villain.
Everyone's villain. Or final consonants. A lot of learners drop the last sound of a word completely. I want becomes I want. Next becomes next.
Okay. Fair. That's not really a confidence thing.
Exactly. That's a mouth placement thing. My approach with students is actually pretty structured for this. I'll isolate the sound completely. Just the TH, on its own, tongue between the teeth, over and over, before we even put it in a word.
See, and that's exactly where you and I are different. Because I think that sounds exhausting. And honestly, a bit pointless.
Excuse me?
I'm serious. Nobody learned to speak clearly by drilling isolated sounds in a mirror. You learn it by talking. A lot.
and getting corrected in the moment, in context, not in some lab exercise.
Okay, but you say that, and I've watched students talk for years without fixing a single sound because nobody ever isolated the problem for them. They just kept making the same mistake, fluently.
Sure, but I've also watched students obsess over perfect tongue placement for one sound and completely freeze up the second they're in a real conversation. Because they're so busy thinking about their tongue, they forget what they're trying to say.
This is where we disagree. Clearly.
Clearly. Pun absolutely intended.
I actually think you're describing two different problems, though. Isolating a sound isn't the end goal. It's step one. You fix the sound alone, then you put it back into real words, then real sentences, then real conversation. You don't stay stuck on step one forever.
Okay. I can live with that. My worry is just that people stop at step one and think that's the whole job.
That's fair, actually.
Because for me, coming from sales, you don't get to pause a client call and go, sorry, let me isolate this consonant. You just talk, you get misunderstood, someone goes, sorry, come again? And you adjust on the fly. That's how I actually got clearer, not from drills.
Come again. Good one to flag, by the way. It's just a polite way of asking someone to repeat what they said.
Very British of me.
Very. But, okay, here's the thing. That method works for you because you were already comfortable enough to keep talking through the awkwardness. A lot of learners freeze the second someone doesn't understand them. They go quiet. They stop trying.
That's actually true. I've seen that too. Someone gets asked to repeat themselves once and suddenly they go silent for the rest of the meeting.
Right. So the isolation practice isn't really about the sound. It's about giving them a private place to fail before they have to do it live in front of someone.
Huh. Okay. When you put it that way, I actually don't hate it.
Look at that. Progress.
Don't get used to it.
Let's talk about the other big one, running words together. Or the opposite problem, chopping every word up so it sounds robotic.
Oh, the robot voice. I would like a coffee.
That one's actually really common with learners who were taught to slow down so much that they lose all natural rhythm. And on the flip side, you get people who run everything together so fast, it turns into one long sound.
What do you say? Instead of, what did you say?
Exactly. And that's actually normal in fast native speech. We do run words together, but there's a difference between natural linking and just slurring your words because you're rushing.
To slur your words. That's a good phrase, that. It basically means your words blur into each other so much they lose their shape.
Right. And it usually comes from nerves. People rush because they want the sentence over with.
God, I do that in my second language too. I lived in Spain for a year, and every time I had to speak Spanish to someone official, I just sprint through the sentence like it was on fire.
Did that make it worse?
So much worse. The guy at the bank literally stopped me and said, "Despacio, por favor." Slowly, please.
See, that's such a good example because it proves this isn't just an English learner problem. It's a human under pressure problem.
Exactly. And what actually fixed it for me wasn't some breathing technique. It was just talking to more people. Constantly. Getting comfortable with the discomfort of maybe messing up.
Which, again, I'd say that works once your mouth already physically knows how to make the sounds. If your mouth genuinely can't produce a sound yet, no amount of confidence fixes that. You need both.
Fine. Both. I'll allow it.
Very generous of you.
I try. Okay, what about the thing where people trail off at the end of sentences? I feel like that trips a lot of learners up too.
Oh, huge one. To trail off means your voice just gets quieter and quieter until the end of the sentence basically disappears.
Like they're not sure they're allowed to finish the thought.
Which, again, often comes from uncertainty. I think this is right, but I'm not totally sure, so let me just fade out instead of committing.
And the fix is basically the opposite. Finish strong. Even if the grammar's not perfect, finish the sentence like you meant it.
100%. Confidence carries you further than perfect grammar ever will. I've taught this exact idea to hundreds of students. The ones who finish their sentences clearly, even with small mistakes, get understood way more than the ones who are grammatically perfect but trail off into silence.
It's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Good one to flag. That's a whole expression on its own. It basically means delivery matters as much as content, sometimes more.
I stand by it.
I know you do. Okay, last one. Getting tongue-tied, which I actually think is different from everything else we've talked about.
Oh, tongue-tied. That's when you get so nervous or excited that your words just get jumbled and you can't get them out right.
Exactly. And that happens to native speakers constantly, too. It's not really a language problem, it's a nerves problem that shows up as a language problem.
I get tongue-tied every single time I try to use new tech, by the way. Someone asks me to share my screen and suddenly I've forgotten how English works entirely.
Jeffrey and technology. A story as old as time.
It's not my fault the app moved the button.
The button didn't move, Jeffrey.
It felt like it moved.
Okay, one more tool before we move on, because I think it's the most underrated one. Actually recording yourself and listening back.
No, people hate that.
Everyone hates it. Every single student makes the same face the first time they hear their own voice played back.
That face. Like they've just been betrayed by their own mouth.
But it's genuinely the fastest way to hear what other people are hearing, instead of what you think you're saying in your head.
See, I'll admit, that one I actually agree with completely. No disagreement here.
Wait, really? No pushback?
None. In sales, we used to record client calls for training, and the first time I heard myself back, I realised I said, "You know what I mean," about 40 times in one call. Never noticed it once while I was talking.
That's exactly it. You can't fix what you can't hear.
So even a 30-second voice memo, just describing your day, then listening back. You'll probably wince, but you'll actually catch the dropped sounds and the trailing off.
Do it once a week, not obsessively. You're not trying to torture yourself. Just spot patterns.
Right. One recording a week for a month, and you'll already start hearing the same one or two habits every single time.
And once you can hear it, you can fix it. That's really the whole game.
Yeah, that's the whole game, honestly.
Okay, one more thing before we move on, because I know it's in the back of a lot of listeners' minds. Does this mean you need to sound American or British or whatever to be understood?
Oh no, absolutely not. That's actually the biggest myth in this whole conversation.
100%. Your accent is not the problem. I've taught students with beautiful, heavy accents who I understood perfectly, every single word, because their articulation was sharp.
Right. An accent just means you sound like where you're from. That's not a flaw. That's just geography. The goal was never to sound American or British.
The goal is just to get your point across, meaning to communicate your idea successfully so the other person actually receives it.
Good phrase, that. And honestly, you can keep your accent completely and still nail that.
Completely. I'd rather listen to someone with a strong accent who finishes their words clearly than someone chasing a native accent who trips over their words the whole way through.
To trip over your words, that one's worth flagging too. It means you stumble, you hesitate, you lose the smooth flow of the sentence, usually because you're trying too hard to sound like someone you're not.
Exactly. So drop the goal of sounding like a different person. Keep the goal of being understood clearly, in your own voice.
Which honestly takes a lot of pressure off once you actually believe it.
Okay, let's actually make this useful. Let's do a quick before and after so people can hear the difference.
Ooh, live demonstration. I love this bit.
So imagine someone ordering a coffee, but they're nervous, rushing, and dropping their final sounds. Jeffrey, do the before version.
Can I get a medium latte with oat milk, please?
See that? Get became ge. Latte lost its T. Oat lost its T too. Every final sound just disappeared.
To be fair, that's basically how I actually talk.
I know, and it works for you because native listeners have context. But a barista who's not used to your accent might genuinely miss it. Now, give me the after version. Same sentence, just finishing your sounds and slowing down slightly.
Can I get a medium latte with oat milk, please?
See the difference? Same words, same casualness even. You didn't have to sound like a robot. You just finished what you started.
It's honestly not that much slower either. Maybe 1 extra second total.
That's the part people don't believe. Clear doesn't mean slow. It just means complete.
Here's a real-world trick, actually, from my sales days. When you're about to say something you know is tricky for you, over-articulate it slightly on purpose, just in your head before you say it out loud. Basically, rehearse the hard word for half a second.
That's genuinely good advice. And here's my version of that same idea. Pick one sound that's personally difficult for you and practice it in isolation for 5 minutes a day. Not the whole language. One sound.
Compromise achieved.
One more, quickly. A work call. Before. So basically the thing is, we had a couple of issues and it's going to be a bit late, sorry. Yeah.
Vague, rushed, trailing off. The client's not even sure what the problem was.
After. There's a delay on our end. 2 issues came up and I want to walk you through them.
Crisp. Complete. Nothing dropped. Same vocabulary, just delivered clearly enough to get his point across.
Crisp is the word. Sharp and clear. No mush around the edges. That's your homework this week.
Compromise achieved. Round 2.
Don't tell anyone.
All right, let's wrap this up.
So let's bring this back to my student and her 3 times coffee order.
The tragic barista saga.
Probably not one big problem. Small habits stacking up. Dropped final sounds, a bit of rushing, trailing off because she's not sure she's saying it right.
And the fix isn't learn more English. She already knows the English.
It's finishing her words, slowing down slightly, not being afraid to say it again.
So if someone's asked you to repeat yourself and you walked away thinking your English isn't good enough,
It's probably not that at all. Just a mouth habit, not a knowledge problem. Pick one sound that trips you up, 5 minutes a day.
and finish your sentences all the way to the end.
We'll see you next time.
Try not to mumble on your way out.